So today we're going to be discussing the FRS investment plan. But for those of you who are on the investment plan, it is a great plan in the effect of the portability that there's only 1 year to be vested. So if you're in the investment plan, the benefits of it is after a year, you technically can leave at any time. So if you're in the system and maybe you're not considering it being a full career, or you're looking at the rules and regulations of the pension, you think that you may not be staying in the state, the investment would probably be a better way to go because you're not locking yourself into a high vesting period as well as a long term of receiving the benefits. Now, in the investment plan, the numbers or the contributions are chosen by the state. So the maximum you can contribute into the account is 3%. Now, your employer, depending on who your employer is, it can range anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10%, depending on the job title you have. But for you, as the individual or the employee, the maximum you can contribute is 3%. You cannot raise it, you cannot lower it, you cannot stop it. But once you work for an FRS member or an FRS employer, they will automatically deduct 3% of your paycheck. Now, the ones who manage the fund are Ernst & Young. They are the ones, so when you speak to the FRS, more than likely they're going to answer by saying you're speaking with an EY financial advisor. So they will give you free financial guidance, they will explain things to you, but it's ultimately left in your corner. It's very involved with you, is that you have to choose the best options for you. So it requires you to do some more hands-on in the investment plan. Now, what is the process of exiting? It's a simple process. Is on the day you're leaving, you have to wait 3 calendar months before your investment funds are available. Now, they do not count the month you retire in. So for example, let's say for most school individuals, their last school year or the end of the school year is in June. So if that was your case and you're leaving in June, they would not count June. It would be July, August, September, October 1st is when your funds would be available. So if you're planning a move or you're planning on changing and you needed access to those funds, just remember there's a 3-month waiting period. So you're going to have something set aside to cover you. Now, there are provisions that if you have it in the FRS investment plan for a while, they do allow you access to a percentage of the investment plan during those 3 months. But it's safe to plan that it's going to take about 3 months before you get access to the whole amount. Now, what happens after the 3 months? Well, when you log into your FRS account, you'll see that you're eligible for a withdrawal or a partial. Now, once you touch $1 of it, regardless, you are now considered retired. So if you ever did come back reemployed, basically you come back as a new hire. But if you ever left and came back and you never touched the investment plan, you would simply pick up where you left off. Now, what are the options in the investment plan after the 3-month waiting period is over? Well, there's several things you can do. One is you can roll the money out. And I would say this is probably the most common because people want to control the funds. They may have other accounts, they want to consolidate it. You can do a 100% rollover. As long as it's a qualified or pre-tax account, no taxes would be paid because they'll just be moving it from the investment plan over into, let's say, an IRA, or if you have a deferred comp or 403B, it would roll into there. Then you can distribute to yourself. If you want to keep the investment plan, you can. You absolutely can. You can just take withdrawals. You can even take systematic withdrawals. Whatever you feel would be to your advantage, they give you those options. But as I said, once you take the funds out, you are considered retired. So it requires quite a bit of planning. So if you're in the investment plan and you're considering retiring, you need to have it all in place on where the funds are going, how are you going to distribute to yourself, what would be the easiest way to access to it. Now, another thing to mention when it comes to the investment plan is once you're retired, you're no longer eligible to add to it because since it's a qualified plan, you personally don't contribute towards it. It comes from payroll. So if you're no longer employed, you can't contribute towards it. So that's another reason why individuals, after they leave, they will roll the funds out so that if they desire to, they could actually add on to that. Or they may get a job and they may have a 401k or something they want to continue adding to it, that would be the action they could take. So the investment plan is more or less the money's in your court. When you retire, you're going to be receiving a lump sum, and it is taxable. So it's very important to understand is how are you going to pull the money out, and how are you going to make this money last? Because since you're not in the pension plan, the income is not guaranteed. You're going to receive a lump sum, and then it's up to you to distribute it for your lifetime.